All right. So this is Mentorship Masters Roundtable Meetup, and I'm your host, Knolly Williams. I always like to say that. But we're talking about today hiring your first hire, I should say, your first hire, which is an admin assistant, an administrative assistant. Let me make sure I got all my controls the way I want them. Yep. Yep. Okay. So the training today is coming right from this book right here, Success with Listings. And we're going to go all the way to the back of the book. We're going to be studying in chapter 20 and see if you can see that. I got a lot of light on me. Can you see how much light I have on me? So this is called Your First Hire. No, it's hard to see that with this light. Let me turn this light down some. There we go. I think that's better. Your first hire, which is an administrative assistant. So, but before we do that, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of backstory. And I'm going to share with you that in this business, in the real estate game, you're only ever going to have two problems. And I think that's great. You're only going to ever have two problems. Either you don't have enough leads or you don't have enough leverage. Okay, let me say it again. Either you don't have enough leads or you don't have enough leverage. Now, the leads topic, I've covered that before and I'll cover it again. That's kind of our main thing that I like to teach about. And in fact, last year, for those of you that weren't at Mentorship Masters in 2019, I did a 12-part series where I did nothing but lead generation. So it's 12 hours of training on lead generation. If you're not at Mentorship Masters, and maybe you're watching this on YouTube or somebody invited you to watch this video, you can go out to YouTube and I have a whole playlist on lead generation. Believe it or not, lead generation is not that hard. What makes it difficult is that most agents, when they get in the business, they're not taught how to do lead generation. And the reason is that people that are in my positions of leadership, we typically do not want you to learn how to generate leads. Okay, I'm getting a little background here. Let me see. Okay, yeah, we don't typically want you to learn. We don't want you to know how to generate leads. Why don't we want you to know how to generate leads? Because we want we want you to become beholden to us, and we don't want you to know more than we know. And there's a scarcity mindset in general. Okay, so those that believe in scarcity, they don't want to teach you how to generate your own leads because that keeps you needing them. Okay. Now the I was talking to a gal this week and we were talking about this whole lead generation thing. And she was like, "Oh, at my previous company, I got all I was fed leads. They handed me leads." And I explained to her, I said, here we teach you how to fish. We don't just give you fish. And there's a big reason for that. See, when you go back to the days of slavery, okay, and we're talking about thousands of years ago, let's say when the Egyptians had the Israelites as slaves. Well, when the Israelites were freed, guess what? They didn't know how to do a lot of stuff. They had to be taught how to do things A, B, C. Why? Because they were so used to someone else providing their food and their shelter and things like that. But there's an advantage to that. Okay, there's an advantage, but the disadvantage was you're in slavery. And so when a lot of times when the slave is freed, they don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to find food. They don't know how to where am I going to get shelter? And that's the reason why a lot of slaves that have been set free in the past would go back, okay, to the master's house because they didn't know how to make it on their own. Okay, and when you are fed leads, yeah, I mean nobody's going to give you leads for free. They're going to ask you for 20%, 25%, 30%, or whatever it is, whatever that little carrot that they're dangling is. But the reality is, here's what I want you to understand. Generating leads is not hard. It's just not. It's not as hard as what we make it out to be. Okay. And that's the reason that I wrote this book right here. It's called Triple My Listings. So if you don't have this book, if you're stuck on how to generate leads, this is the book that you want because this will tackle the very first problem that you'll ever have in this business. And that's, where am I going to get my business from? Okay. If you don't have this, you can go to knolly.com. You pay the shipping. The book is free. You pay the shipping. We send it to you anywhere in the world. Okay. Triple my listings. So, but today what we're going to talk about is the second big problem. Okay. And by the way, if you're not making your goals, I talked to this to another mentorship masters member who was not making her goals. And she said, hey, I'm just not making my goals. I said, well, there's only four reasons why you're not making your goals. I did a whole YouTube video about that. So the reasons why you're not succeeding or you're not reaching your goals. So if you're having that issue, there's a video out there. I did a whole training on that. But today we're going to talk about, for those of you that are already cooking, the grease is hot, it's ready, it's in the frying pan. Okay, and you're ready to put that piece of chicken or fish or whatever you're going to fry up. It's everything's prepped and ready. And guess what? Now you're at the point where you've got so much business that you've entered into another problem. That's the problem of leverage. See, you'll only ever have two problems. Those that don't have enough leads don't really need any leverage. They don't need any help. But those that have so many leads, now they got into a whole nother problem, a whole nother can of worms, and it's called leverage, the leverage issue. And if you can balance those two in your career, you'll have a phenomenal career, and the sky is the absolute limit. Okay. If you can balance generating tons of leads and having enough leverage to handle the business, that's how you see these agents that are doing 100, 200, 300, or 400 deals a year and not missing a beat. They're going home at 5 o'clock every night. Okay, they're working night. They've got nights and weekends off. They work a regular day, like my buddy Ricky Caruth. You know, he sells over 100 homes a year. He does $1 million in commissions, and he always gets off work by 5 o'clock. Okay, doesn't work nights and weekends. So this is the kind of lifestyle that you can have if you manage those two pieces. Today we're going to talk about the leverage piece. And by the way, if you guys have any questions for me, punch them right there in the chat box. If you're watching this after the fact, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to answer. I'm really good about going in and answering all my comments. So in chapter 20, we talk about your first hire, which is an administrative assistant. All right. So, and I started off this way. I say, trust me, if you don't already have help, you need it. Better yet, you need it now. And here's the thing. I don't care at what level you are at, you need help in your business. I have agents all the time. They come to me, they say, Knolly, I want to learn how to do the paperwork. I said, okay, I get that. You want to learn how to do the paperwork. You want to learn how to do SkySlope. You want to learn how to upload your documents. You want to learn how to cross the T's and dot the I's. You want to learn where the signature goes. You want to learn all that stuff. That's cool. So this is what I tell people, and I'm sharing this with you. Go ahead and learn on your first 3 deals and never do it again. Let me say it again. Learn all that crap on your first 3 deals and never do it again. Why? Because that stuff is not dollar productive. But Knolly, I don't have money to pay anybody. Yes, you do. I'm going to show you that today. So the key is, even if you're good at your paperwork, because some of you guys are listening to me right now, I'm thinking of a few of you are really good with the paperwork. That's actually a curse. You being good with paperwork, you think, oh, I'm great with paperwork. That's not even a blessing. I would rather it be that you suck at paperwork. That way you would just never even bother with it because that is not dollar productive. What I want you to be focused on is dollar productive activities. Okay. What is going to put money in your bank account? You don't want to be doing the stuff that's a dime a dozen that anyone else can do. Okay. You want to be doing the stuff that's going to make you rich. Yeah, I said it. I'm going to say it again. You want to be doing the stuff that's going to make you rich. And when you do something, when you sit down, you're doing a task, you ask yourself, is this going to make me rich? And if the answer is no, you shouldn't be doing it. And here's another thing. Always ask yourself this question: who should be doing this? Because I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, it's not you. The question is, who should be doing this? Okay. Any task that you're doing. Okay. whether it's setting up your equipment like I did this morning for a podcast, or if I'm calculating something, or I'm writing a check to somebody, or I'm doing a Venmo, or whatever I'm doing, the question always is, who should be doing this? 9 times out of 10, it's not you. 9 times out of 10. So what I say here is that 91.3% of the steps outlined in my 46-step system are administrative in nature. So in this book, I've got a 46-step system that I outline. By the way, this book is free as well. You go to knolly.com if you don't already have it, and you download it for free, okay? If you're in Mentorship Masters, you can jump into the portal. You can download it there. Very simple. So that means that only 10% of the tasks are for you to do, okay? For you to do. Are you just busy, or are you productive? Okay, are you making money, or are you just spinning your wheels and doing stuff? Okay, there's a difference. There's a big difference between just being busy and just busy work and actual business. Okay, so now let's talk about this: hiring an administrative assistant. Now, when you hire an admin assistant, like I said, my vision for you is that you would hire that person from about your fourth deal in the business, and you'll never look back, and you'll never do that stuff again, because I got to tell you, it's a bunch of crap. And it's not, let me say it this way. It's not for you. Okay. It's not for you. Let me share with you. I'm going to put the book down for a minute, because I want to share with you, when I first got in the business, I took 21 listings during my first 74 days in real estate. Now, I started with a company called Prudential, and I had a great mentor, Arnold Solis. One day you'll meet Arnold. Actually, he was here in Austin about a week ago. We hung out for a little while, and he was my very first mentor. I was green, brand new in the business, and I went and sat at my desk in Arnold's office. He would typically have the door open, and I'd just be there listening. The guy has game. His scripts are off top, what we used to call it. I mean, his scripts are really good. So I would listen to his game, and I would just imitate what he would say. I say, oh, he said it that way, and he got the deal. And smooth. The guy's really smooth on the phone. And so I started with expireds. Well, I didn't know that it was difficult to generate business. So nobody told me it was going to be hard. So it just wasn't. See, a lot of the reason why things are hard for you is because somebody told you that this business was difficult. And the truth is, that's a lie. This is the easiest business I've ever found. And I've been in business since I was 13 years old. I'm 50 now. This is the easiest business that I've ever seen on the planet. This business is so easy that, and if you're not having an easy time with it, I feel for you. I get that, because somebody taught you wrong, or you're picking up the wrong information. But this business is so easy that by my second or third year in the business, I got bored. Okay, I just got absolutely bored. And at that time, I hired a gal named Susan just to go out on my listing appointments. It was just boring. It's like you say the same thing. They sign with you. They do the listing. They pay your fees. No problem. It's super easy. So I was ready for another challenge. Now, my first 74 days in the business, I spent at Prudential. I took 21 listings while I was there. Then I figured out that I could make a whole lot more money than my 60-40 split, plus all the other fees I was paying, if I went to Remax. So that's what I did. I went to Remax, but about maybe 2 months in the business, maybe less than that actually, I was overwhelmed. Are you in a state of overwhelm right now? And if you're getting a lot of business, that's kind of the state that you're in, overwhelmed. And so that's when I hired Josie, my wife, to start. She would do all the what I call field work. She would do the signs, the lock boxes, take photos, and do all the kind of running around and different things like that I just didn't. Now, mind you, I was focused on listings. Okay, so I wasn't really working that many buyers from the beginning. I didn't work that many buyers. Now, fast forward 8 months in the business, you already know that's when I hired my very first coach. Okay, but before I hired my coach, I hired a full-time admin person. Her name is Barbara Reardon. Okay. Now, Barbara started with me, and she got so busy within her first year and a half, that we hired a second person and that was Morris Thompson. Morris was the guy that would do all the field work. Barbara would do all the internal work. And then we started hiring more admin people. Okay. So when we talk about your very first hire being an administrative assistant, that it doesn't mean that you're going to hire that person first and then you're going to hire this other type of person. You might actually have 2 or 3 admin people before you even hire a field person. Okay. And we'll get to the other hire in another training. But right now we're just talking about how to hire your assistant. When do you know you need an assistant? Those kind of questions we'll tackle. So here's the 5 steps that you're going to be doing. So people always ask me, Knolly, you say that we're only going to have to do so many things. What are those things that we're going to do? Okay. So if you look here with me on page 426, here are 5 steps. There's 46 steps. You're going to do 5 of them. Okay. Let me share with you. You're going to generate the seller prospect. That's step 1. That's called lead generation. You're going to generate the lead. By the way, when you become a powerful lead generation magnet, you're going to have to hire people just to work those leads. You're going to have to hire somebody, maybe even at what we call an ISA, just to incubate those leads, just to incubate, just to keep them warm, okay? Just to sit on the eggs, because not everybody's going to be ready. So you generate the seller prospect. Step 5, you'll do, which is research the property. You'll conduct a phone consultation and set the listing appointment. You're going to obtain the listing. That's you go on the listing appointment and you get them to sign with you, and then you're going to negotiate a contract whenever someone brings an offer. Those are the 5 things you do. If it's not one of those 5 things, you don't have to do it. Now you can do it if you choose, but you don't have to. There's a lot of freedom in knowing things that you have to do and those that you don't have to do. And then here is what your admin is going to be doing. And I wrote down everything else. So you're going to do those 5 steps. They're going to do everything else. Now, how do you compensate a person? Okay. First of all, let's talk about how do you know you need somebody? Well, the problem with most agents from a hiring standpoint is that most agents are in feast or famine. Okay. Now, I learned how to get away from feast or famine when I was in my 20s. Okay. I haven't had feast or famine since, I'm for 30 years. Once you learn how to get out of feast or famine, you will never be in feast or famine again. Why? Because you understand the recipe for gold. See, I don't need to amass a huge fortune or have tons of money in the bank, because it doesn't matter how much money I have. I have the recipe for making gold. I already know how to make gold. So, and here's what I need you to understand. As Wallace D. Wattles teaches in the book The Science of Getting Rich, he says that the person that has the recipe for gold, that knows how to make gold on the spot, okay? Do you think that person was going to be walking around with big gold bars? Those things are heavy. Okay, there's no need for that when you have the recipe, and I learned that in my 20s. So I've never had feast or famine since then. I've only had feast. Okay, and the thing is that agents that are in feast or famine is because they don't know that there's another way. They're doing the right things in the wrong order. They don't have good mentorship, and they're just not doing. They're not doing the 2. There's a number of things. Okay, but feast or famine is not. Once you get out of that, you should never have it again if you've learned the key principles. Okay, a person that learns how to swim should never be in fear of drowning again, except they've got to be careful. You get into different waters that you're not familiar with. Okay, well, let's see how we're going to navigate this. Okay, but when you become competent, you don't have that issue. Okay, so that's step number 1 is you've got to generate enough business to warrant, okay, someone actually working for you. Now, the very first thing you're going to want to do is, if you don't have a steady pipeline of business, or you haven't learned how to have a steady pipeline of business, you want to pay per deal. We call it PPD, pay per deal. So what that means is that you're going to pay someone every time that they render a service to, for you. Now, there comes a time when that no longer is feasible. In other words, you've got so much business. For example, once I got to the point where I was doing 5 or 6 deals a month, which was in my second year in the business, it was no longer feasible to pay someone per deal. I needed a dedicated person that understood my system, my way, and wasn't distracted with working with a bunch of other people. Okay. But until then, all you need is someone as an admin to handle your listing to close or your contract to close. Okay. When it comes to, I remember I spent 10 years at Keller Williams and I never, ever, ever fired up dot loop. I didn't even know how it even worked. Okay. I did over 500-600 deals at that company, maybe more than that, maybe 700 transactions. And I never, ever logged into dot loop ever. Okay. Just didn't even know how to do it. Okay. And I was happy to be woefully ignorant in that area because learning SkySlope will not make you rich. Okay. Very important to understand that. All right. So, here's option. So I'm going to give you the compensation options, and then I'm going to share with you, how do you know that you need help? Well, you need help if you have a real estate license. That's how you know. Because a lot of you guys are like, oh, once I get to a certain level of busyness, okay, not business, but busyness, I'm going to hire somebody. That's the wrong approach. The right approach is you want to get in the mindset of not having that stuff on your desk, period. Or not even knowing how to do that stuff. Okay. It's dangerous for you to learn the stuff that is, not dollar productive. It's dangerous to you. It's dangerous to your financial health. Okay. So here's the compensation options. I'm going to share those with you. And by the way, once you get to the point where you're doing at least, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 deals a month consistent. Now it's going to be different for everybody because I'm a high volume guy. So for me, it takes a lot to break me. I can do a high volume because I'm of my profile. I can do a very high volume of business without breaking. Okay. And so my breaking point would be like if I was to do everything myself. I'll give you an example. Right now, I can run my real estate practice in about 3 hours a week, okay? Because I have a lot of systems, a lot of leverage in my business. And I can do that and do about 20 deals a year, working 3 hours a week. If I was to go back to doing 100 deals a year like I was doing before, my last year in production, I did 153 deals. If I was back to that, then I would just have 3 assistants, okay? And I'd still be working. I'd probably be working less than 3 hours a week at that point, because the more leveraged you become, it's just a miracle. I actually did an interview with Hollis Dean, who ran my company when I was doing 100+ deals a year. He ran my business for 5 years, and he explains to you how we did it. So we're going to release that video soon. It's an incredible video. If you're watching this on YouTube, that video is probably already out. Hollis Dean, Deen. Take a look at that, because that's going to. He talks about those days. I mean, we would cap like in 9 days. I mean, one year we capped in 9 days, and that was with a much larger cap than I have here at EXP. So, and I'm not bragging on it. I'm just saying I have learned over the years to run a high volume business. So a lot of times when you guys want me to coach you and pull back on, hey, Knolly, I want to do 15 deals a year or 20 deals. I don't even know how to think that way. It's not even, I could do that on a beach in the Bahamas working 3 or 4 hours a week. I mean, that doesn't compute with the way I think, okay? But I can still help you because I know what it takes to do that. So, okay, so compensation options. Option number 1 on your admin assistant is to pay per transaction. We just talked about that. Now, what is that going to be? That's going to be $300, $350, $400 per deal. Now, you already know that I teach that you should be taking an administrative fee on every deal that you do. Okay, that's what I've done. And actually, Arnold Solis taught me how to do that. So my very first listing appointment, I had a $5.95 transaction fee. Okay, for my first deal, deal number one, and I've never not had it. Okay, and I just explained to the client. I mean, I've got a training on how I explain this because people are like, "How do I do that?" Well, it's so easy. I mean, I've been doing this from jump since the beginning, so it's easy for me. It just rolls off my tongue, and I just explain to the person. I say, "Look, the way a lot of agents out there, you might have experienced in the past, but they're solo agents. That means they're doing everything themselves. Can you believe it? They're even doing their own paperwork. Okay. But just imagine if I'm sitting there doing paperwork on your deal, or I'm at a listing appointment like I am with you right now. This is me talking to the client. I'm here at the listing appointment. Now, somebody calls about your house or another house that I have listed. I'm not going to be able to take that call. Why? Because I'm here talking to you and giving you my undivided attention. But wouldn't it be great if I can just split myself in half? Now I've got two people identical to me, both doing this. Wouldn't that be great? Oh, that'd be great, Nolly. That way, nothing falls through the cracks, and we're able to get you the most money possible for your home in the least amount of time. Now, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, that'd be great. Well, here's what I'm going to do. You're going to have a dedicated account representative that's going to be dedicated to you. Okay. They're going to be working your case with your file. Now, obviously, they're working other cases too. The people know that, but they're going to be dedicated so that if you have an urgent question, you don't have to worry about where Nolly is. Is Nolly at an appointment? Is he out in the field? Maybe he's driving right now. It doesn't matter. You're always going to get your questions answered. And so I've got a gal. Her name is Barbara. She handles all this, and that for the team. And so you're going to get two people almost for the price of one. You know, it's not going to charge you. I'm not going to charge you double for two people. It's just an additional $5.95. Okay. And by the way, you don't even pay that until we close on your deal. Okay. With the $5.95 that it costs to have the level of service that I'm going to be providing you, I guarantee you're going to make more money because we're going to be on top of things. Okay. It's going to pay for itself. So that's an additional $5.95. It's right here in the paperwork. You don't pay that until closing. No problem. And then I move on to the next point. Okay. Now, if someone has a question around it, I just explain to them how, you can go to, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that I explain it, but I never have pushback. Okay. When people see your marketing plan, if you've got your, here's the thing. If you've got your rockin' pre-listing package, okay, and you've got, your seller guide, remember all the tools. You've got your seller guide, okay, that you've given them, and you've got your pre-listing video, okay. You got your pre-listing video. They already know you're at a whole different caliber, okay. So they're not going to expect the same experience or the same price, okay. I recently had my roof done on my house, had it redone, and the guy and I hired a premium company. They put a premium roof, and it was a little bit more. I mean, it wasn't the same because most people think that every agent is the same. And yeah, if every agent was the same, but they know when they hire you, they're getting mentorship masters. Now they're getting a whole new caliber of speciality. So so you pay an admin fee. Now with that $5.95, what I always did was I ordered photos and I paid my admin person. Okay, that covered the cost of that. See, because I always look at it like your staff cost. I mean, that shouldn't come out of your commission. Your commission is your paycheck. Okay, that's your money. So just imagine this: you're doing 50 deals a year, okay, and you're charging $5.95 per deal. Okay, so how much is that? $30,000. Absolutely right. So you just generated another profit center or revenue center of $30,000 a year. And what's that money going to go toward? Your staff, your VA. Okay, it's not going to come out of your commission. So pay the per deal, per transaction. Now, what are your duties in there as I go into that? Now, how do you screen a person to do your contract to close? There's three questions that I like to ask. The first question is, how many listings have you closed? You're going to be doing my contract to close. How many listings have you closed? Now, I prefer that to be more than 100. Okay, I want them to have the experience Now, it doesn't have to be, but I just prefer it to be that. Now, the difference is if you train somebody yourself, if they're going to do it to your system, no problem. Now, I always ask, how long have you been closing real estate transactions? I want that to be 2 years or more, okay, if they've been in that position. And the third question is, send me a list of 3 to 5 agents that you are working with right now, okay? Send me a list of 3 to 5 agents that you're working with right now that I can pick up a phone and call, okay, right now, okay? And, people that you're currently working with. And then there's actually a fourth, and that is send me a list of several agents you've done more than 10 transactions with. Let me say that again. Send me a list of several agents that you've done more than 10 transactions with. Okay. Now these are kind of clearinghouse questions because we want to hire somebody that's going to be at the same caliber we are. I'm not training you guys to be average agents. I'm training you to be the uncommon agent. Okay. Any company I go with or that I'm part of, I want to be in the top 1%. Okay. In fact, I want to be in the top 10% of the 1%. That's just because I know that I'm that good, and so are you. Okay. It's all up here. It's all your own belief. Now, option number 2 is you can hire a part-time or a full-time admin. Okay. That's option number 2. And I write all about that here. And we really call them VAs. So right now I have 4 VAs that work for me. 2 are part-time and 2 are full-time. Okay. And this is how I run any enterprise, any operation that I have, is I teach people how to do what I do, and then I let them do it. Let them do their job. You inspect what you expect. Okay. Another beautiful thing that I want to share with you is that this book right here was really written, and I don't know that I've ever shared this, but I talk about it in the book, but this book was written for your VA. It was not written for you, okay? Let me say it again. Now, the first 10 chapters are written for you, but the rest of the book is written for your admin, okay? That's the reason why when you look at the first 30 days in Mentorship Masters, I only task you to read the first 10 chapters because theoretically, the rest of the book, you're not really going to be personally doing, except the listing appointment, okay, and negotiating offers. Everything else you're going to have other people do, and even some of the front end stuff, like if anyone ever called me, like I never talked to a lead ever before they talked to my admin, because my admin was trained on doing a questionnaire with all the information before I ever talked to the lead. That's why when I talked to the lead, I sounded like I knew what I was talking about. I say, hey, Jim, isn't your house the one on the cul-de-sac? Yeah, that's my house. Well, isn't it the one with the train tracks right behind it? Yeah, that's it. That's exactly the house. That is my house. Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with your neighborhood, Jim. Now, what did I do? I went on Google Earth. I did the research, looked up the property, went on Google Earth, walked around their neighborhood, walked around their street. Okay. And I just did my homework before I called them. And when I call them, I sound knowledgeable. Okay, that's what I teach in here. So, and I'm going to open it up for questions in just a minute, but I want to just get you guys through the nuts and bolts of this, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. So it goes into what your duties are and what are theirs, and then what is the cost of a VA. So Mina just got a VA for, I think, like $4 an hour or something like that. Now, I've always used my Outdesk. Mina, you're on?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up? So tell us about this VA you got.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So yeah, she's gonna be working for me. I gave her a schedule. She's gonna work for me from Tuesday through Saturday from 9 to 6. She's been a real estate ISA for like 6 years already. She worked for some mega agents for Keller Williams in New York. And so she knows like how to cold call and prospect, and she knows how to do the CRM. I mean, she's literally gonna lighten my load so incredibly that I'm excited. She starts August the 3rd.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Mina. And just to think of you going from not doing any deals whatsoever to having a full-time staff member. How does that feel?
It's insane. I keep telling everybody, I'm like, hired an employee. Like I'm gonna have somebody coming on that helps me build this business, alongside all the other things that I'm doing. But I
I
mean, for
think
$4 an hour, it's epic.
it's how much? How much for an hour?
So we struck a deal for the first 30 days just to make sure it was going to fit the bill. I'm giving her $3.50 an hour. And then after 30 days, she'll go up to $4 an hour. And of course, as we go along, I would give her bonuses and incentives for, kicking butt and helping me in my business,
I love it.
I'm
I love it.
excited.
So, and I'll be helping you with those too, Mina. As the years progress, I've had Chris that's been working with me going on 7 years. Knowing me on my team has been here for 6 years as my VA, and then I've got Paul who's going on his second year with me, and then I've got Carolyn who started with me in 2009. So I don't know, 11 years she's been with me. So I can help you with how to incentivize them and things like that. That's great.
And just so that you guys know, just in case y'all, want to hire one or you guys want to get one, I actually got her I went through the whole interview process and everything with Sphere Rocket with Justin Nelson. He is in Fred and Kevin's downline. And I just kind of mentioned, hey, I was looking for an ISA that wasn't going to break the bank and wasn't like, in Texas, if you will. And so basically I got a discount deal because I'm with EXP and he's with EXP. So he gave me a discount to onboard. And I went through an entire interview process. They give you resumes, disc profiles, and then, you start doing everything with them. So it's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to this. And I think everybody should have one. I wish I had one a long time ago.
Yeah. So now I've always used a company called My Outdesk, and that's Daniel Ramsey owns that company. He's a good friend of mine. He's got about over 3,000 VAs that work. And what I like about them is they give dental, healthcare, and things like that. But the price is higher. So my VAs are like, uh, I think it's like $8 an hour, $9 an hour, something like that. Is where they are. So this $4 an hour. I was like, what in the world is this? And you interviewed how many people, Mina?
On the first round, they were going to give me 8, but we knocked the list down to 7, and then only 6 showed up. So on the list, I didn't think I was going to pick anybody. I was super disappointed, but I had all my questions like ready to go of what I was looking for. And when I got to the very last person, it was like, oh, I'm picking this one.
I love it. I love it. So that's great. You had a handful of people to choose from to interview, and then you picked the one that was right for you and your business, and that's beautiful. I love it. I love it. So thanks for jumping in on that, Mina, and we'll talk about a little bit about what you can have your VAs do and things like that. Um, Rebecca's asking, why do I have so many VAs? So I have different VAs that do different things because I run multiple companies. I own different enterprises. So that's the reason why I have so many people. So Chris runs my software business. I've got Paul who does all my editing, my video editing. He's a full-time video editor on my team. People are like, man, you do a lot of YouTube. Well, yeah, I got a full-time video guy. Now, back when I was doing the video editing, I would spend hours on these videos. Why? Because I liked doing it. It was fun, but it was not making me rich. Okay, putting the videos out there is helping to make me rich, but not doing the videos. Okay, so I hired a guy that's all he does. He's a VA on my team, and he just does video. Carolyn runs my short sale division. She's been with me since 2009, and anything that's short sale related from start to finish, she does 100%. I do one thing on the short sale division, and that's generate the lead. Everything else she does. And then knowing me, because I'm a coach and trainer, I have products that I sell. So I have a complete toolkit and a bunch of other stuff that I sell. So Noemi is our product specialist. And what Noemi does is anytime that a client is locked out of their account, they have a question about something, or they need, they purchase something from me, Noemi walks them through how to use it, how to open it, how to access. If there's a refund needed or whatever, she handles all that. Somebody gets their book in the mail and the book is all torn up. they're like, hey, my book is messed up. She calls them and handles all that. So I've got different people that do different things. And so eventually, and that's when you get into having multiple businesses and things like that, like I do. I've got multiple streams of income. But it's just, I just don't like to do stuff. So now I like doing what I like to do. Okay. But sometimes it doesn't mean that everything you do has to be dollar productive, by the way. It just has to be what you have the intention of doing. So, for example, I might just want to go to the lake or go to the pool and hang out. I'm not making any money doing that, right? But I've got people that are doing the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing so that I don't have to do it. That's just smart, okay? So that's just smart. So, all right. So let's talk about this job description. In the book, I have a complete job description of so that you can, if you needed what we call a JD, you can just copy paste the job description that's in the book, and it says administrative duties, transaction duties for listings. What are going to be the transaction duties for buyers? What are the knowledge and skills and expertise needed? For example, proficient computer skills, excellent phone skills, experience in the real estate industry, good people skills, friendly personality, attention to detail. And by the way, and it goes on and on. And by the way, I do a disc profile of every single person before I bring them on, because I want to know that they have the disc propensity or the potentiality of matching the disc. Now, the other thing that I go into here is I talk about the 5 compensation models for your admin. Okay, this is hard to see, so there, you can see it now. See, 5 compensation models for your admin. So you guys see. One day I'll show you this light I have. I got a killer light on me. Woo, making me look good though. Hey, all right. So write this down. If you don't have the book, or just write it down in your notes. If you have the book, you can highlight it. There's 5 compensation models for your admin. Number 1 is an outsourced VA. An outsourced VA. Okay. Mina uses Sphere Rocket, and she said the URL is sphererocketva.com. So that's who Mina uses, and the discount code is Yasmina Slaughter. Okay, Yasmina Slaughter. We'll have that information if you're watching this on YouTube. We'll have it down in the description below. Use that discount code because Mina is now a partner, and she'll get a little something from it, and you'll get a little something for using her as a reference, because you heard it from her. If you want to go through My Outdesk, then you go to myoutdesk.com/Knolly, Knolly. But I guarantee you, I'm going to be looking more into this Sphere Rocket, because I just haven't looked into it, but it sounds legit from what I've heard. You could pay if you have somebody. Now, mind you, these are VAs that are in the Philippines or some other country outside the U.S. Now, if you hire somebody stateside, U.S. side, okay, you're looking at, I say, $12 to $30 an hour, somewhere in there. And depending on when you're watching this video, if it's right now, it's 2020, so that's kind of where we're at. So it might be, if you're watching this in 2030 or 2040, it might be year 2040 right now when you're watching this. So it might be a lot higher than that. Number 3, so number 1 is outsourced VA. Okay. Number 2, an hourly person. Number 3 is salary only. You give them a flat salary per month. And I say $1,400 to $2,400 for part-time and $2,500 to $4,000 full-time. Okay. That's a salary only. Salary plus bonus. Okay. Now you might opt to pay a person what we call a stipend, or just a flat base rate plus bonus, like, hey, I'm going to pay you $1,200 base or $1,500 base plus $300 per closing, something like that. You could do that too. And that could be a full-time person with that. If you have enough volume, see, that's where you have to have enough volume for them to justify making a good enough salary to become more of a partner. Or you can do number 5 is a fee per transaction. Okay. So that's where you're paying $300 or $400 per deal for that person to do that for you. Now, if you read the book, and I'm going to back up and answer questions next. But it goes into your second hire being a team buyer specialist. Okay. And then your third hire, which is a team listing specialist. But don't get the idea that you have to hire your second person as a buyer specialist, because literally you could have multiple admin people. Like if Mina decides she wants to do 100 deals a year or 150, she might end up having several admins. Okay. And they're going to do different things. She might even have one person that just does her social media and other things like that, press kits and press releases. She might have another person that does follow up, that calls and follow ups, does follow ups. And she might also have another person, that does contract to close, So those, she might have all three of those before she even ever hires a buyer agent. Okay. So it's just, we're talking about the type of role. So you've got the admin, the buyer agent, and the listing agent. That really kind of makes up the crux of a team, if you will. So with that in mind, I'm going to answer any questions that you guys have around this. Anything that you feel like I didn't cover, or you just have a little confusion around it. Again, and while you're getting your questions ready, you can type them in the chat. You can unmute yourself and ask it. But you'll know, I'd ask my coach this, I said, how will I know when I need when I need help? And she told me, she said, you'll know. You'll know. And some of you need help and then you're not doing anything. And then you need help and then you're not doing anything. And that's the reason why you're afraid to hire somebody with a commitment, which I don't think you should, until you've learned to get out of feast or famine, which Mina has already learned and mastered. Because I asked her, I said, now this is interesting, because Mina went from, when she came to me, she had done like, I don't know, 6 or 7 deals, 8 deals, however many deals it was, her first month in the business. And then she had not done a single deal since then for like 7 months. Okay, that's feast or famine, folks. Okay, until she met me and she got on the right track. Okay, now when she got on the right track, now her husband told her, you got 1 year to make it in this business. If you don't, you're going to go back to your paying job, your regular job. So I find it ironic that within her, after just 1 year, and she even asked me, she said, Knolly, are you going to keep your promise? Because I only got 1 year to make it in this, and I'm back out, And I said, Mina, I'm going to do what I promised. Trust me, you're going to get there. Now, she not only didn't go back to her regular job, but she's hired a full-time employee. I mean, now that is a success story, guy. And that's not just her success story. There's many of you that are flourishing and succeeding, but you can succeed even higher when you hire the right VA or the right admin. All right, questions? Does nobody have a question for Uncle Knolly? All right. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm done teaching. So if you want to get more information about hiring a admin, hopefully I've inspired a lot of what I teach. I try to inspire you, because I know some of you guys are not playing, full on. You're just in the game, but you're just playing half-assed. And hopefully I'm inspiring you to get in the game and really play the game, because it's no fun. Number one, it's no fun being on the sidelines. Number two, it's no fun being in the game and not winning. I like to win. Okay. I don't just play. I'm not just playing the game to have fun, guys. I'm playing to win. Are you playing to win? Or are you playing just not to lose? Or you playing to just get by? God has a lot more in store for you than just mediocrity. Okay. I want to share one other thing with you that I think is very important before we run. And that is let's see where I have, let me see where I have it in here. It's in the book. You'll find it in the very back. So basically, when I talk about this whole concept of lead generation, first the lead is generated, then the lead is captured, then it's incubated, and then it's converted. Let me say it again. This is something that I teach this is $1 million understanding. Okay, there's certain things that you'll learn that can make you millions of dollars, and this is one of them. Most agents, when they lead generate, they generate the lead and they try to convert the lead. That's not how it works. Okay, that's like throwing a seed in the ground and digging it up the next day expecting you got some corn. Doesn't work that way. You put the seed in, okay, and then there's a process before you can harvest. Okay, a lot of you guys are throwing in seed and trying to harvest the next day. It doesn't work. Okay, now here's the process. You generate the lead, you capture the lead, you incubate the lead, and then you harvest or you convert the lead. Okay, so what does that mean? Like Bryant Matus, he teaches us about the Facebook. He's got success with leadgen.com, and he teaches, you go on, you put the Facebook ad, you're generating the lead, then you have them fill out a form that you capture the lead. Okay, then you got to work on them. You got to use your follow-up scripts. Follow up. You got to follow up with them. That's the third step. And then you close them. Okay. You don't just go from, it's not like you just go to it's like walking up to somebody, back in the days when you're single, you go into the club or whatever, and you walk up to somebody, hey, can I have your phone number? You're missing some steps. There's some steps in between. Okay. So I wanted to share that with you. And I also want to share with you that life in this game becomes fun when you do what you're supposed to do so that you don't have to do it anymore. Let me say it again. Do what you're supposed to do so you don't have to do it anymore. Those of you that are like, man, I like doing the paperwork and all that. I understand you like it, but I also understand that you're going to get burnt out. You don't realize that you have, just like any battery. Okay. Let me say this. The human body is a battery. If you don't understand that, you haven't looked into the physiology of the human body. See, the human body is an electrical system. Okay. That's why we have the central nervous system runs along the spine. And number two, it's a battery. That's why we have a negative and positive polarity within the human body, the human design. So what you're not understanding is, even though you might like doing something, okay, it is draining your battery. So what's happening is, over time, you're going to feel burnt out. You're going to be like, why am I burnt out from this? Why am I not feeling the joy? Why am I not feeling the excitement that I felt when I first got in the game? Well, the reason why is because you're burning the battery. You need to recharge, and you're doing the wrong stuff. You're doing what you were not really designed or purposed to do. You got to get that stuff onto a different battery pack. And then every single day, like I do, I wake up every single day and I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready to come teach. I'm ready to come share with you guys. I'm ready to go make some more money. I'm ready to go do another deal. I'm ready to start a new business. I'm ready to get another business partnership. Why? Because I'm recharged every single day, because I don't spend my time working on crap that drains me. Okay. And that's what anything that's administrative, even if you enjoy doing it, okay, like I do, because I've got an engineer's mind. So that means we like paperwork, we like the minutia, we like spreadsheets, but you got to rise above that and do what you're put on earth to do. Follow your mission, follow your purpose. All right, that's all I have to say for now. Hope that's been helpful. Uh, Rebecca's asking if any of my books are on Audible. Not yet. Yeah. So that's the reason why I bought this bad boy, the Blue Yeti, so that I could. And that's going to be a tedious job. I wish I could hire somebody who wants to read my books for me. Maybe I'll outsource that. All right, love you guys. Unmute yourself. Say goodbye.
Thanks,
Bye,
Knolly.
guys.
Thank you, Knolly.
Bye.
You rock, Dolly. Thank you. Bye, y'all.
You're amazing. Bye.